Premier, good morning. Welcome to Swift Radio.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Premier, our question to you is now that this annual session has finished, what do you think? What's the biggest achievement of this session?
Well, I think the most important part of the session was advancing BC's economy, really planting the seeds for some significant economic growth in the province. The North Coast Transmission Line, which is an electrical transmission line that's going to help us develop $50 billion worth of mining in the Northwest, as well as electrify the Silism's LNG project that's worth tens of billions of dollars to the provincial economy. That law passed. It barely passed because the Conservatives voted against it, and they voted against our economic future and jobs for families in the province when they did so, when they joined with the Green Party to oppose it. But for us, getting that across the line, we made it a confidence motion. We said if this fails, we're willing to go to an election because growing our economy, creating jobs for British Columbians is job one. And this law enables us to get shovels in the ground in March and enables the mining companies, including the largest mining company in British Columbia, the largest company in British Columbia history that is choosing to locate in our province, Anglo Tech, allows them to make the decision to go ahead with their projects in our province.
Good morning, Premier.
Good morning, Ginny.
So, Premier, the economic side and the investments, the projects that you have been able to bring and to BC and put on the federal agenda is good news for BC. But in the areas, other areas like public safety, what major steps has the government taken this session?
Well, Ginny, I know there is, and rightly so, a significant amount of anxiety across the province around the issues of street disorder, people seeing people who are really struggling in the streets. Maybe they're using drugs or maybe they're acting really erratically or unusually. We have identified a site in Surrey and one in Prince George for involuntary care for people to be able to provide these people who are not able to ask for the help that they need because they're too sick, provide them with the care that they need going forward. And Dr. Vigo, who's advising our government on this, has standardized the response at hospitals across the province so that people can get the care they need, whether they're struggling with mental health addiction or serious drug addiction, brain injury, or all three. And so that's going to help on public safety. Overall, the good news is we're turning the corner on crime in the province. It's down 7% across the province, and crime severity is down 11%. But unfortunately, south of the Fraser, we have this terrible extortion issue, and it is terrifying people. And so despite the fact that the headline numbers are good, the reality in communities is people are feeling very unsafe. So I think when we got everybody together, when we got the chiefs of police, all of the mayors, the federal government minister responsible, myself and our ministers responsible, all of us together in the same room with Canadian Border Services Agency, and we were able to make sure we were all on the same page and pointed in the same direction. I have to say it really improved my confidence that everybody is coordinated and focused on delivering those people who are breaking the law and terrifying the community to jail and ensuring that they stay in jail. The work is important and ongoing, and the goal of the operation is to not just get the frontline people who are involved in this, but to get the people who are sending those international students and others out to do these terrible things, to get the people that the masterminds behind this as well, and put them all in jail so that we end this once and for all.
Premier, you've mentioned the extortion issue. Do you think about any other unsolved issues which you think you will plan for next year?
Yeah, just on extortion and generally, there's a bill we fought really hard for with the federal government that includes, among other things, new restrictions on people who are involved in extortion activities that keeps them in jail longer, that make sure that they're not released back to the community. But it also includes other provisions we fought for around the criminal code to stop violent offenders from being reintroduced back in the community, but also people who commit multiple property crimes, who show no respect for the law, who as soon as they get arrested, it might be a minor crime, they might break a window or they might steal something, In the criminal law, that's considered minor. It's a big deal for a store owner. And when they do these things over and over again, they go to court and the court says, oh, this is just a minor thing. We're not going to put you in jail for breaking a window, or we're not going to put you in jail for shoplifting a $50 sweater or whatever. But they do it again, and they show absolutely no respect for the law. There's a provision in front of the federal parliament that will allow these people to be held in jail because they are causing chaos in the community. And it is not a large number of people. It is a small number of people, but they are causing a large amount of trouble and chaos in communities. And so they need to understand the consequences of their actions, and the community needs to be protected from them, and they need to be kept in jail. So that's another issue that we're very focused on, is we've really wrapped up the repeat violent offenders with, we've got teams that if they're ever released, immediately surround them and ensure that the slightest violation, they're going back to jail, and that ensure that they're held in jail longer. But for these property offenses, broken windows, shoplifting, that's the next phase, and the law is in front of the federal government. And we hope to be able to, along with the extortion changes that are in front of the federal government right now, to get that passed before Christmas. We said to all the parties, I called the NDP federally, I talked to the federal Liberals, I'm encouraging the federal Conservatives and the Bloc Québécois to all pass this before Christmas so that we can use these provisions in British Columbia.
Premier, yesterday was an interesting day, not because it was the last day of the session, but we had lots of drama at the legislature. What is your take on what happened yesterday in the Conservative caucus?
Yeah, Ginny, this has been ongoing since the Conservatives were elected. I think that, people who voted Conservative, my message to them is, please take a careful look at actually who the Conservative Party is in British Columbia. They voted against economic development in our province. They stood shoulder to shoulder with the Green Party to shut down one of the biggest economic opportunities facing our province in a generation. They voted against it for politics. When Donald Trump attacked our economy and we took U.S. liquor off the shelf, they said, oh, we shouldn't misjudge Donald Trump, but we shouldn't antagonize him. We should do what he asks. One of them actually tweeted out that we should become a protectorate of the United States. Every time they're given the chance to choose between British Columbians and someone else, that on Alberta, with its fictional pipeline that's threatening tens of billions of dollars in economic activity in our province, they want to get rid of the oil tanker ban. They had the chance to stand with British Columbians and the projects we have and say, let's get those projects across the line. But instead, they stood with Premier Danielle Smith. And so every time they get the chance to choose, do we stand with British Columbians or do we stand with somebody else? They always choose somebody else. And now, they do have a job as the official opposition, but instead of doing their job, all they're talking about is they don't even know who their leader is. Brian Tepper, Mandeep Dhaliwal, Linda Hepner, they are totally silent on this chaos in their caucus. And the reason I'm passionate about it is because I spent time in opposition. That is an important job to hold the government to account. I'm not excited about strong opposition. I'm in government, but they do have a job to do. And it actually, when the public looks at our parliament and sees chaos at the Conservative benches, they don't think, oh, it's just the Conservatives. They think politics is a mess. Politics can't get anything done, and it causes the public to have less confidence in all of us. So for those three Surrey MLAs, I think they need to speak out. I think they need to denounce the chaos in the Conservative benches because it hurts all of us. And I think for once, we need to all agree, regardless of whether we're Conservative or NDP, to vote to grow our provincial economy, to put more money in the pockets of families, to give them more job opportunities. We are seeing the impacts of the Trump tariffs showing up in real job losses here. We have to grow our economy. We have to reduce our dependence on the United States. And we can't let partisan politics, nonsense, and chaos that the Conservatives are bringing, trying to drag us back into the past. We have to move forward. And that's, I feel quite passionate about this, Ginny. I should be smiling as the leader of the government, as the opponents are in chaos, but I'm not. I find the whole thing totally appalling. And I think it hurts all of us, actually.
Thank you, Premier.
Thank you, Premier. Thank you for taking time out for Swift Radio.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks so much for having me. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I'm sure we'll talk again, but the Christmas spirit is very much alive here at the legislature. All the lights are out, so I'm thinking about it.
And I love Christmas, Premier. So Merry Christmas to everyone.
Right on. Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.